takes a great system with great leads and a great agent to get these outstanding, amazing results that these guys are getting. But if you're a great agent, you've got great leads already, try adding our system and see if you don't see a huge improvement in your appointment setting and in your retention. Okay, that being said, let me go ahead and bring on Mr. Josh Lockhart to the call. Josh, thank you so much. Not only for helping build Lead Champ from scratch, which when I tell people that you build it, they're always like, really? Like that guy? I thought he was like, no, but like they go, isn't he like a top producer? Doesn't he sell a ton of insurance? He's building an agency, all those things. Does he really know anything about tech? And I'm like, ask him 2 years ago if he knows anything about tech. He'd probably be like, yeah, I know how to light a green screen and record a video, but that was about it. And now we've gone from that to just in the past few months. For those of you guys that didn't know, previously we were using a third-party AI CloseBot. They did phenomenal for us, not going to lie, but they're designed as like a generic sales appointment setting bot. And so it could only get so good. But Josh said, I think I can do better. And he went in and built us our own custom AI. And the second we flip that switch, our appointment setting has doubled by the AI. And it's going up every single day. I'm sure he has some numbers he can share with you. But Josh, thank you for becoming a tech guy randomly so that we can all have this incredible product. And hopefully here soon, you know, we'll have you out of the tech seat and back selling as much as you want to. But in the meantime, thank you so much for putting Lead Champ together. And I will pass the call over to you.
Absolutely. Appreciate it, Nick. Appreciate everybody for hopping on. And yeah, I mean, we do not have a generic AI. I will say that. It is a very if anybody's ever used any others, right? There's some like generic stuff out there and you can kind of, you know, put your light spin on it. But we kind of go above and beyond that. So everybody kind of gets their personal version, right? So it is injected with your VMU site, with your bio, with your experience. You know, it talks as you, which you really don't get out there without a lot of custom work, and you certainly can't do it at scale. And then you know, we have our own challenges. We have our own sequencing. We have our own things that we're dealing with inside the system every single day. We get, you know, our own flavor of objections that so it's very custom to what we do here. And so Nick said, you know, our appointments doubled. At this point, they've almost tripled. So we're very, very close to breaching 3,000 appointments a month. And what I will say is, and we're going to jump into it with Bryan here in a little bit, but it's one thing to have a lot of appointments. It's another thing to get those appointments to show. And we look at, you know, how are appointments getting set? How are they getting, you know, and are they showing, right? And there's different ways that you could set them. You could be the agent sets them. Maybe you have an appointment setter setting them. They could self-book if you have some kind of lead set up where people just go on. An AI could set them. And what we see pretty consistently across the board is AI's show rate is going to be right around 35%, which in some industries you'd say that's really low. In life insurance, I would say that you can make really good money at a 30% show rate. If you get a 50% show rate, which has only happened for me 2 months out of my whole career consistently, which, you know, really depends on the leads and the marketing, and that's a whole nother conversation, but you can literally print money. So it does super well. And, you know, the caveat to that would be who's dialing the phone, right? If myself, Jamie Cheerio and others that I could name are dialing the phone and setting their own appointments for themselves, yeah, they're going to have a way higher show rate. And then again, if you have a appointment setter who maybe you don't train on the regularly, they're going to have a worse show rate. So it's all kind of all depends, right? So, but we're very, very proud of it. It's getting better all the time. And so, yeah, thank you for that, Nick. So we're going to talk to somebody who I would say we're so grateful is a Lead Champ fan, a Lead Champ fanatic. He was actually at our first like launch meeting, party, dinner, whatever you want to call it, when we were just like, yeah, we're going to let people buy this thing. And we were at a convention and people had to walk across a highway in a torrential downpour rain. And we bought food and kind of let everybody know. And he was there. So And just to give you some statistics, right? So last month, and we're going to jump into a story, Bryan Little, who, unless he tells me otherwise, is still part-time insurance, sold 59,971. Let's just call it 60,000 last month, right? And so if you're here and you're like all in on insurance and you're not selling 60,000, definitely listen up to what this man has to say. And we're going to jump into his statistics because I have all of them. I've spent a bunch of time compiling these, and I'm going to try to melt his brain to get it all out so you guys can learn from him. But Bryan, man, appreciate you being on.
It's good to be here. You hear me okay?
I hear you great. Nice,
All right.
nice headset from headset to headset.
This is like $19 too, man, and it works great. So
Yeah, I went with you got the plug-in too. A lot of people have the wireless, and I just don't want to monkey around with like sometimes the Bluetooth works, it doesn't work. Somebody walks by, it falls
yeah,
off.
I'm plugged in.
Yeah, exactly. Plugged into the matrix. Cool, man. So now to confirm, right? Are you still you still work full time outside of insurance? Is that
Oh yeah.
what's the situation? What are you doing? What's your like how do you possibly fit all this into your life?
So
And you're jacked. So let's just throw that in there too.
so first of all, you have to get away from managing time and start create time because there's so much in the details when it comes to doing life insurance and having a full-time job. So my job is completely opposite from insurance. These calluses do not come from doing life insurance, okay? I work in a machine shop. I've been doing it for 27 and a half years. I got a few years left, and I knew when I started this 3 years ago that I wanted to have something outside of that because I have my pension and my medical, and it's just something that I really want to finish. And I'm one of those people, I don't hate my job. I don't go to work. I think if you're spiritually, mentally, and physically, working on yourself on a daily, I think anything you do, but I've always appreciated it. And I know the value of hard work, but this is a completely different animal. Okay, so stepping into insurance is a commission-based product. So was there some fear probably of leaving the paycheck? Probably, but I always said that I wanted to make sure that if somebody is taking the courage to do this full time, I wanted to be an example to them and to myself that it's possible. So my why is so much bigger than myself.
So something you just said, I don't want to like gloss over it, right?
Hmm.
So you have this job, you mentioned a pension and you want to finish it out. So I'm assuming that like whatever version of retirement that job offers is kind of on the horizon.
Yeah, no, it's just I'm 3 years away
Okay.
from that. Yeah, if it was 15 years and I was having where I'm at now, it would be a real conversation with with who I'm, at the time
Yeah.
who I'm with. But yeah, I've had that conversation with my wife, and I just feel more comfortable finishing it out right at
Yeah,
this
for
point.
sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I mean, I don't know what pensions are like today. What I can tell you is my grandparents, they retired the year I was born. I'm 41. And so they've been living on a pension and like everything's paid off my entire life. It's wild. But the reason I make mention of that is like I on one hand, it's like if you want to go all in on insurance and do incredible things, like rock on, let's do it. But also, I think a lot of people are so quick to go, I don't want to be a success in insurance more than I just want to get out of my job because I don't like it.
Yeah.
And and like it even gets it to the point, and I kind of I was talking to Nick the other day, and you'll interview somebody and they'll say something to like, man, I'm working so much on my job and I just want to have time freedom. And I'm like, oh yeah, like how much do you work? And they're like, oh, 30 to 40 hours a week. And I was
Dude,
what are you talking about? You have a part-time job. What are you talking about?
that's part
Like
time, bro.
yeah, this is going to be harder because if you're trying to do your job and insurance and then like life, like you're going to be putting in twice as much. Are you really, really up to the task of doing that? And 9 times out of 10, they're just not. And you are. So like that's a
Right.
testament to who you are. So I appreciate
Yeah.
you sharing that. So you mentioned you've been in insurance for 3 years. So selling life insurance where you're at 3 years. full time?
I got my license in 2018, and I sold for a couple years, but that's in-home presentation. So
Yeah.
I did that for a couple years with the full-time job. So there was no on the phones at all. That Family First didn't even really talk about that at all.
Yeah.
It was all in-home presentations. So I did pretty good, but it's a lot doing in-home traveling and working. I was gone like all the time. Then I stepped away, went through some things, some growth things I needed to do, but I knew I didn't quit. If it makes sense, I knew I didn't quit. I knew I was going to do insurance. I've always wanted to kind of do it because if you love it, you're actually going to hate this sometimes too. So you better love it. And so I knew that I loved it because I absolutely hated it sometimes, but I also loved it. It was weird. It's like being in the mob or something. But
Yeah.
I stepped away, but I kept my license active. So I got back last year. And
Okay.
I sat my wife down and I said, I'm being called back to insurance. And I said, I know this is going to be a lot. She said, start in January 1st of 25. And then I said, okay. And then I sold my first policy in April of 25. That was my first policy that I sold again, I think, around
Wow.
that time.
Okay. So when we first met, you were just like getting back going again.
Yeah, I think I ended the year at 187.
Okay.
That first year I ended at 187.
Nice. Nice. And now you're crushing it. So when did you what would you say, when did you start doing like 30K a month average?
That was probably halfway through this year really. I mean, when I went to convention, that was my first like big month. I think I, wrote over 50, but I think I issued like 37 of that. So, I came back from convention fired up, and all of a sudden I had like banking all over the place, like everything that was going wrong was going wrong. But when
Yeah.
I went to convention, it showed me like that's not potential anymore. That's been done. And I did it with the job, and I did it. So it really was the internal thing, not the external things. More leads, CRM, you name it. Like I love Lead Champ, but it's an internal thing that had to change in me. And that happened when I got in 75 hard recently. And
Hey, all right.
that's when I had my best month, which was that number you said, which is mind boggling to me, but that's really what happened is like I said, I created the time now. So
Yeah.
I was giving up so much time to mediocre garbage that was not generating any type of activity or serving families. So I had to get rid of the distractions.
I mean, it's so true. There was the first time we all did it, there was a group of us late 24 that did 75 hard. Jamie was there, Quentin was there, I think Dawson was there too, the first one. And yeah, you're so busy and you're like, how could I fit in all this other stuff? And it's not it's not hard, like anybody can do it, as but it's, you definitely have to just like make a list, have a plan, and then just like, here's the things. And there's really not a lot of time to like think about it or mess around.
Yeah.
And I think that directly applies to business, especially life insurance, because you can find yourself messing around with a lot of stuff, right?
Yes.
You can be sitting here, dwell on why the last call didn't go right. You can be tinkering with your CRM. God love them. You could be doing all kinds of stuff. And then you get to the end of the day and you go, what did I do that moves the needle? And if you're truthful about it, probably not as much as you like. But for me, if I keep my schedule like so full that I'm like, I don't even know how I'm going to do all this, then I'm just doing, and I'm not thinking about what to do.
Yeah. Yeah. I think another thing though is, so I have some non-negotiables, zero compromises now. So, when it comes to getting up early, I get up at 4 a.m. every day, no matter what. So no matter what time I
Ooh.
go to bed, I'm up and I don't hit the snooze. That happened about a month ago.
Okay.
So like even on like a Sunday church day, I don't really do a lot of business, but I do that stuff. But regardless, on Saturday and Sunday, the gym doesn't open till 7. So what I do is I get up at 4, I go for my 45-minute walk, I read my 10 pages, and then I'm able to go take a nap if I want to. But I do run
Okay.
on Saturdays as well. So, but Sunday, that's kind of like my off day. But I needed something that I could track. So I can tell you exactly what I've done the last 30 days because
Okay.
that uncomplicates everything. I can't wait for Sunday. That's the hardest part is when Sundays you're like, man, I still got to get up at 4 a.m. you know, and but this is creating time because those are non-business hours, so I can give those hours to myself. I don't got to get on the phone. And if we're in competitive collaboration with these other people out there, and not my team, we motivate each other. But when you're in competitive collaboration, my competitor is going to have 3-4 hours on me if I'm getting to the gym at 8 o'clock. Those are business hours. And then so I had to learn to create the time, but also I have to learn to be watchful of it. So that's really the secret, is tracking your schedule. But I had to make it simple because I am not the most organized person there is. So I needed to say, what did you do in the morning? I get up at 4 a.m. I take a progress pick. I take a hot bath with Epsom salt because I'm getting older, and I take a pee. And I can tell you that's exactly what I do every single morning in that order. And I just do things the one thing I found out about getting up like that is it's the first good decision I made to myself. It's the first promise that I kept to myself that day.
Yes.
So I can
Yes.
trust my word more than if I hit that snooze button, if that makes sense.
Amen. Amen. Amen to that. Yeah. Yeah. How you grow confidence is keeping promises to yourself. Other than maybe Sheila Day on this call, like none of us are organized.
She's
I
always
have,
writing business. I see her name
yeah.
popping up all the time.
She's maybe the one organized person. If there's another one, I just don't know him yet. Yeah. By definition, we're just not. Okay, cool. So let's jump into some of the the scheduling stuff, right?
Yeah.
Because again, I know for myself, I was talking to Nick this morning. I have this analogy that I always come back on that I think of is when I'm trying to like eat healthy and be in shape and everything. I am not the kind of person that can have the cookies in the house.
No.
Right? So there's like the people that are like, if it fits your macros,
Yeah.
I cannot do that.
No.
Like if I smell the bag of chips or the cookies, like my wife makes fun of me. I like ice cream and I don't eat it a lot because I like it. And if it's in the house, like I just want to go and eat the whole thing and just like be done with it. And she can just take like a scoop of it every 3 days. It's the weirdest thing to me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, just don't bring it in the house. That is I know myself, and that's a different version of willpower. Is I just don't bring it in because that's something I deal with, right?
Yeah.
Um,
I'm
and
the same way, by the way. So go
yeah,
ahead.
I imagine so. I imagine so. So if you're honest with yourself, if you do it like an inventory, you kind of know. And so again, if I have a plan, a routine, like I'm really good at routines, right? Almost to the point people make fun of me. I'll do the same thing every day, and I'm fine with it. But just leave me just to do anything, I'll probably just do nothing.
Yes.
It's ridiculous. But all right, so somebody asked, and this is a good question, right? So you have these two jobs. What's your schedule on your job, and then what's your schedule for like insurance, and like how much do you give both? And
Okay, so basically I do run appointments at work. It's not easy. Okay, because
okay.
I run 12 machines. So I've learned that timing those machines, it's almost like, oh, hold on, that's a client. I got to call back. What I do is I run my machines, but I set things up in a way that I'm able to do it. So I wrote business in 100-degree heat in a little shanty, and my computer had to sit on a cigarette butt ashtray. Okay. Like, what are you willing to do? And I wrote it in offices. I've been in bathrooms. I've wrote it in my car. My car is literally an office. And what I do is,
I've seen the pictures on social.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I try to run no more than maybe 5 appointments at work. So tomorrow I go to work. I work the next 4 days. It's a 48 hours, 12-hour day. So I get up at 3:40 and I go to work, and I'll put my appointments in there. But I'll tell you what, how gratifying it is when you run out to your lunch break or whatever, and you come back in and you wrote like 2 apps for like 5K. And what I love most about that is my attitude does not think I'm better than what I make my earned income. I don't think that I'm better than that. And I love that I'm level. So when I write business, I just thank God. But also, I get stood up a lot. I get yelled at. I get everything you all get. I get the run around. I get every little bad thing you can think of. But I think it's really, how are you adverse to the next phone call? So the next 4 days I'll be at Ford, and then Monday, Tuesday are the busiest days in the office. Like, after being in the Thunderdome out there doing insurance, there's no better place I like to sit in my office and actually like sit in front of a computer screen, have my screens. It's just so comfortable for me. And it's
Yeah.
just like, this is what I see my future being in, But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it fluctuates with the scheduling, but sometimes I'll just load my schedule. If I get to them, I get to them. If I don't, I don't. Like, I just have this on full blown, let's go. I don't shut my leads off. Everything is being, AI. I don't have any times that are blocked off besides Sunday. Everything kind of just keeps running. I added a dialer as well.
Okay.
So during my work hours, he dials 5 hours a day. I have him dial from 9 to 12 and then 3 to 5, Monday
Okay.
through Friday. And
Nice.
then I
9 to
and then I just
12.
got a part-time assistant as well to help me with like the banking and the
Oh
calling
yeah.
the carriers and stuff like that. So that was like another boundary for me that I didn't know what it was like to have an assistant. So I
Mm-hmm.
figured, so that's just another realm that I've never experienced. But um, pretty much my insurance money is always, it's kept in the account. My wife had to talk me in the other day to take 5,000 out for a camper that we paid cash for, but she had to talk me into it. She said, Bryan, you have this much money in here. This is what you have. This is everything. You're able to do this now. But I
Yeah.
was so scared to touch that money because I'm thinking, you know what I'm thinking about? When you're not writing insurance, you're going broke. I'm thinking about the future chargeback. I'm thinking about everything. And she said, no, it's okay. You can do this now. And so I actually did it. And it was like, it was kind of relieving in a sense, but it was kind of scary too.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I would say that life insurance agents are probably the most superstitious people outside of baseball players. It's like you go one day without submitting business, you're like, "Oh my gosh, did I lose my power? Can I even like
Yeah,
sell again?
exactly.
Am I
Yeah.
ever going to sell another policy ever again?" Yeah, it's crazy. So, okay, a couple things. So you mentioned an assistant. Now, for anybody, I was told once I started selling around $20,000, I should start, considering an assistant. Now, this is before lead champ or automations or any of the things. And I remember sitting there pulling my hair out because I'm like, but then we were on like the dial 2 days all day and then in the field the rest of the week. So I'm like, how am I supposed to sit on hold with the carrier for an hour and update this stuff and still get my appointment count? And I was just like
Yeah.
freaking out. And I was duly freaking out because I'd never hired anybody before, and my wife was giving me a hard time. She's like, you want help, but you have to slow down and tell people what you want help with and how to do
Can
it.
I
And I
tell
was
you
like,
why I got the assistant?
yeah,
Because I'm not scaling back. I'm scaling up.
yeah.
So there is no, it's almost you're burning the boats. Like, it's not about going back to being comfortable. It's about how can I maximize. First of all, the one thing I care about the most is persistency on my books. So
Yes.
I have the end in mind when I'm actually closing the deal. I have the end in mind. Am I writing quality business? Did I do everything I can to make sure they understand? Am I available? So Lead Champ does all the follow up for me. I can't tell you how much I love Lead Champ, and I did not know how I can be in 100 different places at once with Lead Champ. That's the point of it, is that I can all those texts go out, the birthdays, the Christmas, and they love it, man. They absolutely love it. The FIA stuff goes out now. I just had like my annual reviews are coming up. I could never make, so that's another reason with the assistant. But the reason why I got them is because I'm not going back. I am going forward. And
Yeah.
that was a decision. Like, if I'm going to do this thing, I'm going hard. So what I did is I made my life very boring. My life is boring. My life is about, I have a vision. I have a focus. I want to be there for my team. But, when I see Derek writing the numbers he's writing, and he says, well, if you can write 50K, you can write 70K. If you can write 70K, you can write 100K. Why not be the number one person in FFL writing insurance on your own pen? Why not be number two? Why not if you're in the top 10, dude, that's a pretty damn good class to be in. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to make a significant impact in people's lives, also my family's life. I want my wife to understand that if she wants to leave because she has a business, if she wants to end that we're going to be okay.
Yeah.
So that's another reason I got the assistant.
Yeah. Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you got to do the main thing, which is like you have your job and then helping families. If you're building a team, it's like really the only two things you should be doing is either helping families or helping people, helping agents to help
Yes.
families. You know what I
That's
mean?
right.
Everything else is something that you can get some help with. Well, I want to spend some time and dive into this month you had, see if we can kind of extract out what makes you different from somebody else. And I think already, right, like you have an extreme focus on maximizing your efficiency to the goals that you've set. So like
Yes.
that's obviously number one. And like Nick said, we have a lot of people that we're probably one of the few CRMs that we tell more people not to sign up than do sign up. Um, because it's like we'll get somebody who's brand new, and if it's like if you're gonna spend less on leads to get Lead Champ, don't get it, right?
Yes.
Like get your leads, figure out how to sell, and then come, because it's not gonna save your business. It's gonna help a good agent do better, with the persistency, with the appointments, but it's not gonna take somebody who hasn't. When I say good agent, I don't mean like you're a bad person, but like you just haven't hit that level of efficiency to like effectively run, like, and it doesn't have to be much, 10, 15K a month, but consistently, and you're
Yeah.
profitable. But it's certainly not going to save anybody's business. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to rattle off some stats. We'll dive into it a little bit. I got some questions. All right. So,
Yeah.
and if you don't mind, these aren't like personal numbers, but it's nothing too crazy. So Bryan, again, he submitted through the what happened button, right? So for anybody that we ever say, there's some people out there I know they sell. I know they sell. They just don't hit the what happened button. Blows my mind. But Bryan hits it. All right. 59,971. That's on 39 sales for 41 policies. All right. His average policy premium is 1,537. AI booked him 96 appointments. He had a total of 121 appointments for the month. And I'm suspecting, and I can't see this, that there's probably some one call closes in there as well.
Hmm. Yeah.
So if you're like, hey, how do I get to that level? Well, if you have over 100 appointments in a month, that's a good start. All
Good
right.
stuff.
So also we can see response rates are somewhere around 35 to 40%. You got a couple different leads going on there. We can jump into that. And then we're going to talk about spam here in a little bit. I know that that's gone around around the way a little bit. But real quick, if you don't mind sharing, how much you said, well, before I ask how much you spend on leads, the thing that you said, I want to make note of it, is you never shut your leads off, right? And I'll see, because I'm like regularly running reports like, hey, who set the most appointments today? And it'll be like, you know, everything's even, and then boom, Bryan Little set a bunch of appointments. So I don't know how your leads come in, but I know they're always coming in. So and I would encourage everybody, if you are not on a automated lead order, right? You want to get there. Maybe you need to work up to it, but like that's a decision that you don't need to be making every week of like, how much should I spend and what's going on. You just want it running so you can focus on the job. But yeah, how much are you spending on leads? And let's jump into that.
So I normally do probably 1,500 to, I think the most I did in a week was 2,500. So it's really between 15 and 25. So I'd say 18 would be a good average,
Okay.
depending on what the leads are coming in at. So sometimes the leads are coming in at, if they're lower, it's going to be lower. I just need the leads, but it could be anywhere from 14 to $19 or something like that, So just depending on that pretty much. But yeah, it's between that number. I would probably say 15 to, I would say 18, 15 to 18 is
Yeah.
my main that works right
Okay.
now.
Cool. And then, I mean, like, I guess, when do you decide, hey, I need to up it this week? Like, how do you make that judgment call?
Probably just if I think like I guess it's a feeling, man. I don't know how to explain it. It's like, yeah, just keep them going. Like what are they coming in at? Just if I'm getting them for 14, I'm like, definitely do not shut them off.
Yeah.
Like because I just we get a lot of garbage too. You know how it is with the leads. I
Oh,
thought you
yeah.
were going to email me, and I'm like stuff like that. But really, typically just on my sales, what I do is I write insurance and I need to talk to people, and that's how I look at it. I just need to talk to people because truthfully, I'm not that good. And I always think that people are better than me and I work like I'm broke.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't get a 10K day or would, I think this week I wrote like 19 or something. But to me, like, and I'm have so much humility because I feel like it would be taken away from me in 10 seconds. So I don't get prideful about it. I don't brag about it. I just know that I need to talk to people. I need to write insurance and I need to be authentic with the client.
So one thing I want to point out, so people are asking how much on leads. So he said average of 1,800 a week on leads, and the CPL, cost per lead, is right. Let's just call it like 16, 14 to
Yeah.
18, somewhere in there. So for anybody that these leads, and I know which vendor you are. We're not, somebody can hit up support. We'll tell you. We have a good relationship with the man. But they're not like they're good intent, but I wouldn't call them like a premium, like super duper. I'm trying to be the highest intent, because sometimes the vendors that do that, they're chasing like the ultimate, and you're paying like 40, 50, 60, 70 bucks a lead I've seen. And it's like, once you get that, it's like, it better be freaking good. Where what you're doing is, yeah, they're pretty good, right? They're general life, but they're cheap enough so you get a lot of swings at the bat,
That's right. That's
right?
right. Mhm.
So I want to make that distinction. And of course, you got a bunch of them that are getting set.
Well, just to let you know, the client that I have at 1 o'clock, it's an IUL. We're going to write him up. He's 74. He's in great health. That lead is from December.
There you go. Well, okay, you mentioned that. So I do have it here. You got 464 new leads last month. Now, what this data, and you maybe saw the sheet that I sent out, what it doesn't show is how many of those sales and appointments were from leads before May. And what
Yes.
I would tell anybody, you kind of need to be pumping leads into LeadChamp for at least 3 months, 90 days consistently. Then you start seeing this compounding effect start to
That's right.
happen.
Hmm.
And so many people, we get agents are like, can I change the words? And they want to change the words of the first text. And I was like, it's not the first text. It's the 8th. It's the 12th. It's the 1 in 6 months that brings it back. And you write up an IUL for $5,000 that makes your week. So that's really cool that you said that. All right. So next thing is we'll do the spam stuff in a minute, but you have what do you think? Now, a lot of this stuff we can track it at LeadChamp. We don't have it all like a good model for it in a display that everybody can see, so that is coming at some point. But we can figure out like show rate, who's confirming appointments, things like that. But AI, in at least, well, let me ask you 2 questions. Number one, how much one call closing do you do? Maybe none, maybe it's some. I have no
No,
idea.
no, no. I do one call. A lot of it is it's depending on who the person is, but I would say of those numbers, 20% maybe.
20%. Yeah, I mean, I am not the biggest one call close guy. I don't like
No.
doing it. I got a crazy schedule. I got kids. I got to run upstairs and do
Yeah.
math homework and violin, and then there's LeadChamp and stuff. Like I like to compartmentalize my day. It's appointment time. It's this time. It's that time. But yeah, like there's times like Saturday morning, I like doing one call closes. If I get somebody on, like I run through it if I don't have an appointment. So I'm with you on that. But
It
yeah, I mean,
depends on the client. If they have insurance, I'll ask, have you done this online before? Did you get those last policies? We'll go over that a little bit. Yeah, they understand how it works. Okay, perfect. Why do you feel like you need more insurance? This is quite a bit. Like I try to, sometimes I'm trying not to get them to get insurance, and that makes them want it even more because it exposes their why. Like I don't think it's enough, so they're just selling themselves. And
yeah.
then I think the number one thing is just be authentic. I'm not pushy. With these leads too, if someone gives me, I can take type A, but if it's like type AA, I'll hang up on them.
Well, here's the thing, that I'm hearing you say is you don't need any one lead or any one sale,
There you
right?
go.
Number one, you have your job pays your bills, I assume, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Number two, you have a boatload of leads, so
Yeah. Hmm.
whatever. And then number three, you sell so much that like, yeah, if you would have sold, 58,000 instead of 59,971 this month, like, so what?
Yeah, right.
Right.
Well, I think another thing is I don't think anybody wants to invest. I never say spend, by the way. I say invest because this is a business. So and I can claim all that and everything. Even the camper that we just paid cash for is going. We're claiming that. We talked to our accountant. So there you go. But the
This
whole
is
thing is
not financial advice. This is just what Bryan does.
nobody wants to do it, but this is what the system is. This is how you do it.
Yeah.
And I didn't create the wheel. I'm not special when it comes to this. All I look, and I'm very selective who I take suggestions from. Very selective. And I've stayed with my lead guy through everything. Every deal I've ever done has been through his leads. There is no quantifying. He is my guy, and I wrote insurance on all. That's where I wrote all my policies.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things like every lead vendor, the tide goes in, the tide comes out a little bit, and it is what it is. And everybody, you can definitely find yourself just chasing the next thing, and you're always chasing. But like you've just said, hey, I found my thing I'm good at, and I'm just gonna stick with it. So like that, there's definitely huge merit to that. A couple of things on your sales process I wanted to ask you about. So
Sure.
you have a lot of AI appointments. You got a lot of appointments, more so than most people on the platform. I think you were like, I'd have to look. It was like top 3 or top 5 in the platform this past month, something like that.
Wow.
Out of, we have a few hundred agents sold over 1,000. We sell over 1,000 policies a month, right? So
Oh,
it's not
cool.
nothing. It's not nothing. One of the things that people complain about is like, I set all these appointments and they don't show. Which I would say I started the call like somewhere around 35% show rate. Would you say that feels about right?
Yeah, you're telling me numbers I don't know. I just, like I said, I run the schedule, and if it's a
Just run it.
no-show,
Yeah.
I hit the no-show button, and it sends them a link, and then that goes into the no-show, and they get called again. And
Amen to
that's
that.
yeah. So I just no-show. I try to do all that. I'm getting better and better at it too.
When you call somebody for an appointment,
Yeah.
like, what number are you calling from? Do you call once? Do you call
My
twice?
cell
Do you
phone.
text them? Cell phone. Okay.
Yeah, but that's when it goes down. There's so much information before the appointment. You get the hour, and then you get the 15-minute, and then it says, "Hey, check out my link before the appointment." There's so much information that LeadChamp gives them, and then before I pick up the phone and call them, I text them my digital business card prior. So when I call them, I said, "Hey, Frank, how you doing, Frank? This is Bryan. Just for the life insurance appointment. Go ahead and check your text message. My number that's my business card. And did you already lock in my phone number as well? Yeah, why don't you go ahead and do that?"
Nice.
So I lock it in
Perfect.
right away, so they have it. It shows them, and I think that just brings. That's why I don't get a lot of social when I need the social.
Yeah.
I don't get a lot of. I get some, but not a lot because of all the stuff that LeadChamp did, and just sending over and that's my personal cell phone. I said this is who I talk to my wife on.
Nice. Well, I think there's, we've had some people here and there that they're like, you guys send a lot of appointment confirmations, like, or reminders, right? Like, let's not set it, they want less to catch them by surprise. And I'm like, but then if you catch them by surprise, then that means they didn't want to be there. You know what I mean? Like, I want to talk to people that are like, oh yeah, we had an appointment. Like, yeah, I'm here for the appointment.
I let them know, especially if they the rescheduling crap that we go through. I'm like, okay, and I'm always busy, so I'm just like, okay, I could have a full day wide open. I'm like, I don't have that day available for you.
Yeah.
I'm
The
just I
first
got too
choice
many.
is never open.
Yeah, I don't even give them like that. Like I don't have, and even though I'm like, commission breath or whatever, probably a little bit. Like I want to sell them and put them in a better position, but I just don't want to lose my status with them.
Yeah.
And when you lose your status and you're like, "Hey, thank you for showing up for the appointment," you say stuff like that, it's just going to lower your status down.
Yeah, they're just like, hey, this guy's here to sell something, and you're like, no, I'm just here to do a job to help you. Now, so one thing I would recommend everybody do, right, is when you call that appointment, if they don't answer, right, please, just don't call once and go up, no show, right? Like, especially if you're calling through the system, you should call through the system, then
Yep.
maybe call through your cell, call through the cell, call through the system, shoot them like multiple tries, because I can't tell you how many times. Or like, I don't do a lot of like double, triple dialing when I'm dialing for appointments, but certainly when I'm calling my appointments, I double dial every single time. And I can't tell you, I would say half probably answer the second one. And,
Yep.
oh yeah, it's our, or they were running to their phone or like, who knows?
So
So
I'll triple call them, and I send them a text and I'll send them a voice text sometimes in the
there
text.
you go.
So like I'll hit them, and then sometimes their phones, you get the leave a message, the Google crap or whatever. So and they will call back because they don't answer their phones if they don't know the number.
Right.
So a lead champ does tell you to lock in the number. So if they're reading the text, it says make sure you lock in this number, and some do it. Some are very good at it.
Yeah. Another thing I'll mention, which Bryan said he's doing, anybody that's using SendBlue, you can send voice memos. I would encourage you to send voice memos, like in the morning, right, for all your appointments. Like, hey, John, we got an appointment at 3:00. I'll see you then. Or if they haven't confirmed by text, hey, John, we have an appointment for 3. Doesn't look like you've confirmed it yet. Just text me back here that you got it. Doing that one thing helped me to lock in a $250,000 policy last year. So that was pretty crazy. So voice memos are dangerous. The other thing I want to talk about is your average policy premium. All right. Now, like, yeah, if you're selling mostly IULs, right? Derek Robinson's is a little bit bigger, but that's what he's focused on. But like, you're also selling more policies. And so like, there's a bunch of different ways we can shake it up. But like, I would say for a Gen Life sale, right? You have one of, now I will shout out because I saw him on the call. Clark Pickett, I'm going to be hitting you up. Clark Pickett, his is 1,700 and yours is 1,500. So we're gonna be.
I love Clark. We're
gonna be seeing what Clark is doing. Shout out to Clark. But
yeah, he's awesome.
But also, like, there's some other folks that like do sell, and theirs is closer to 1,000. And so I'm like, okay, something that Bryan's doing, and we need to figure out what it is. So what I would ask you this is, how do you show numbers, right? Do you do 3 options? How do you present, like, how do you pick, and what's your process on showing numbers?
So there's a couple ways I can do that. I'll show them the biggest one first too.
Yep,
But also
there you go. Show bigger numbers, Nick. You hear that?
That's right. And then you can actually say, I just had a 75-year-old that got this same policy. Now this is what his premium is per month. So I'll show that number. And then most importantly, this is very, very important. I never do a financial inventory. There's 2 things I hate is canceled insurance. It does happen, but like I said, my sales made, I have the end in mind in the very beginning. So I never put them in something that they can't afford, first and foremost, ever. But and I sell on value. I never say the word cheap. I will find the most inexpensive option for you with the most value. Because I just don't, like, for some reason, people put their life insurance as it's going to be the cheapest thing that they have.
Yeah.
And I have so much value for it because first of all, I have multiple policies on myself now. So if you don't have a policy, how are you going to have that authentic feeling to tell them to get insurance if you don't even have one?
Yes.
So I'm a believer. I'm like the Hair Club for Men guy. I'm not only the CEO, I'm the president. I'm also a client,
Oh man. All right. So you do, so we would call it, the name for it, like, there's like the 3 option close. Hey, you can do the 30, the 20, the 10. Which one do you want? They usually pick the middle.
Yep.
The other thing that we would call it is like top down selling, right? You start at a big number and then you work it down from there. And it sounds like that's kind of more what you do. And now did you say you never do a financial inventory?
No. I always do a financial inventory.
That's why.
And then this is another keyword because sometimes you'll find something that if there's not and I will not take them out of policy. Let's say they're on a 2-year wait and they're already like 19 months in or 20 months in for a day one. That's something that they have to, it's very like, if it makes sense, but like, I just don't randomly replace policies without really talking to them about it to see if it makes sense. Like, I could save you $10, but you're 19 months into your 2-year wait policy. I'm not going to do that.
Absolutely. Thank you for saying that. That is important. So, walk me through, for anybody that doesn't know how to top down sell. Like Jamie Cheerio is very, very good at this. I would say he's one of the best. This is something that
I see his numbers, by the way.
I know. I think he's just like, I think he's just bribing people. I don't know. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
So yeah, what does that sound like, right? Like if I'm an agent, I'm just trying to learn from you. Like how do you present that? What do you say?
Basically what I'll go over is, what were you hoping to achieve by filling that form out for the life insurance?
Okay.
And then once they give me their why, I'll also say, have you been declined for any life insurance in the past year?
That's good.
And is this important to you? So I'm not pitching products that I'm not even getting to amounts yet. I want to know if this is important to them because I can reuse their own words during the script as well. Because I mean, I'm scripted, but I'm more of a, it just depends on it's like a piece of real estate. Every piece of real estate's a little bit different. If I hear a dog in the background, why I'm going through numbers, I'm like, hey, hold on a sec. We'll get this insurance. What is your dog's name? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, because it's just connecting. Because I really do care what their dog's name is, by the way, because I love dogs. But overall, though, when I top down, I just go right to the big one, and I'm just like, these are the most inexpensive rates, and then I sell the value because the why is more important, and then I'll hit their health too. Like I just put a star by this guy's name. He's 74, so I'm gonna go ahead and put a gold star by your name because more important than the money is actually you may have the health to get this. And so I'll go
Good.
through a number, but before I run applications, I show numbers.
Yeah, I do too. I do too. Some people do it different. It makes sense to me. So yeah, you'll say something like I'll say something like, "Hey, I'm just gonna let you know, like the most you can, like based on what the information we have, what I'm seeing here, it looks like the most you can probably qualify for is whatever it is, right? 50,000, depending on what kind of product it is, and that's going to be."
And if they hesitate at all, like I think I could do that. Well, hold on a second. Do you think you can do that, or you can do that?
Yeah.
And so what I use, if they were to pick the highest option, I'll say, can I be brutally honest with you? Why don't we go with the second option, and then we can always add coverage later because I'm your guy now.
Yeah.
So we can just do that. Why don't we get something in place, see what that's like coming out of the account every month, and then because you may have to do little bit of bill swapping because you always get rid of something for your life insurance. And if they can figure another way out, and then I want to find out, are they working, retired, or on disability? Are they on a fixed income? Are they getting ready to retire in 2 years? So, Miss Margaret, we're not going to base this on what you make now. We're going to base this on what you're going to make in retirement because I want to make sure you can afford it. So I go to what are you going to make? And that makes them really think about it. And that will just draw them away a little bit. Sometimes I actually lost the sale because of that. Because like, I don't know if I can afford it. I'd rather lose the sale there than put them in something just because I don't have a chargeback in a year. I hate when I see clients give all that money to insurance carriers.
And then also, like, if it's ever happened to you, like whether it's like Moo or Americo or any company that does any kind of bonus, and you miss your bonus because a couple people canceled, you just fell under the line, and you're like, But guys, this is so good, right? Like what Bryan is doing, it's more like when you get really good at this, right? Like I always say, you have to start on a script because you don't know what to say, and then eventually you don't have to think about what to say because you know what to say. And that's when you become good because now all you're thinking about is what they're actually saying. So they say, yeah, let's do the big one. But he heard them hesitate and he knows that's going to be a chargeback in 3 months. So he's going to call it out now. So he's like selling them on the future. I'm going to be your guy. This is going to be good for you. He's selling them on the product now, and then he's even like probably because he's starting with bigger numbers, he's getting bigger premium. And then if he comes down and go, hey, let's just go down a little bit, then they're like, man, he's really looking out for me. He's not just trying to get some money from me.
You can crank wheel too. I know if you're doing IULs, Derek does a lot of crank wheel. I still do crank wheel if it's necessary.
Yeah.
I don't do it every time, but if it's necessary, I'm like, here, let me show you my screen. I have no problem being transparent with them at all. And what I try to do is just stay level toned. I try to stay level. I'm not the emotional one here. Okay. I'm trying to get them to a place of their why.
Yeah. Now, last couple things that if anybody missed it, right, is something called price anchoring. You'll say, oh, hey, I just helped somebody that was 75. Their premium was, $200 a month, right? And so they're
Yep.
like, oh, okay, that's what, because nothing's worse than a 75-year-old that, has COPD and they think they can get $1 million for $20 a month. It's like, or they have the magical policy that is better than any policy you could. They don't really have a policy, right?
No, I'd be like, I would keep it. And now, where'd you get it? Because I'm gonna go get a couple of them.
Yeah. So I think I can answer this. Tanner asks, how are you determining what number to start at? Are you just kind of showing max coverage most of the time?
No, not at all. If I just determine if they already have coverage, what they want the insurance to do for them. Is there 2 people in the household? Is there loss of income? Women tend to be a little bit more. I get a lot of calls from women calling for their husbands, and then every now and then I get the husbands like, I need to leave a legacy for my family. So really depending on what's their income, what are they bringing in, if they're, our clients are either lower income or middle income, that's our base of clients.
Yeah.
So I just want to see if there's anything I can do to put them in a better situation.
Yeah.
And so whether that's I don't think about my bonuses with Americo. I don't think about ethos. I think about what's the best vehicle for them with their health. And I just write insurance that way. So
That's awesome.
Let's just say I was 2,000 away from Americo bonus, but that wasn't the policy that's best for them. They're going in the other place. I never put me first. So there's 3 things I live by, and I learned this from actually Sean Mike. It's got to be good for the client. It's got to be good for the agent. And it's got to be good for the company.
Love that saying. I love that saying. That's and that's how you should operate, right? There's another one. I think it was Zig Ziglar. If you help other people get what they want, you'll get everything that you want, which you are absolutely doing. So,
yeah.
So I want to go into the spam stuff, but I know that you have a 1:00 IUL appointment, and
that's okay.
So I don't want to keep you, but so if you have to jump off, feel free. But I do want to kind of let everybody know. So. Bryan, and then there were some other agents where we're looking at some statistics, and sometimes like this business can play a head fake on us, right? Sometimes and to be truthful, right? Just as humans, anything that goes wrong in life is somebody else's fault, and anything that goes right in our life is our fault.
Always.
That's how it usually goes, right? And so we're usually pretty quick to go, it's the tech, it's the leads, it's the this, it's the that. And so we ran some numbers and we found out that Bryan is running the same leads as this other group of agents that all use Lead Champ, right? And he is using SendBlue, which we don't care if you use A2P, if you use SendBlue, we don't care. The one benefit of SendBlue, I will say, is and I'm going to throw this in our Discord chat. I took a screenshot the other day. Is if you're messaging SendBlue, which is iMessage, you kind of skip by all of the carrier filtering. So that's a benefit. And then also, I don't know if I can find it here on my phone, when it shows up on your phone, right? Like if I'm in a text strip with Bryan and I'm a lead, it shows up on my phone, maybe Bryan, which I think is really cool.
That's pretty
right?
cool.
And so anyway, so what we found is he was getting a much higher response on the same leads, same words, same SendBlue as these other agents. And it was stressing me out. I was like, I need to be able to explain this. Because I'm running the same leads. I have a few lead vendors, but I'm running the same leads. So I'm like, I need to be able to explain this. So I was racking my brain. And what I found out is all the other agents, they had their number was flagged of spam with one of the carriers. All right. So a couple people, they were flagged as spam with Verizon. The people that had the lowest response rate were flagged as spam with AT&T. And then we ran a search and found out that most of the leads that these folks were running were in the Southeast, Florida, Georgia, the big states, right? That's where I like to run leads. I like to stay on the East Coast. And AT&T has the most customers in the Southeast. So more people have AT&T numbers than Verizon numbers. So if you're flag spam with AT&T, less people are going to pick up the phone and respond to your text because they're not going to get it. It's wild. It's wild. So what I recommend everybody do, and I will say you know,
Get rid of Georgia. No, I'm just joking. I don't
yeah,
have Georgia.
no. Yeah, get rid of Georgia. I'll sell them. I'm here. So what I'd recommend everybody do is when you get on LeadChamp, okay, or if you're on LeadChamp right now and you have not done this, start doing this right away. Up in the top right corner, there's a resource center button. Okay. Go all the way down this spam protection guide. It's going to pull up. It's going to, we made a full guide on, call behaviors, texting behaviors, all this stuff, and some websites to register all of your numbers. Okay. And any number you use for marketing, if you use your cell phone, do your cell phone. I don't care what number it is. You should register them on all those websites. And that tells the carriers, hey, I'm a real number. I'm a real person. I'm not a spam bot. And then I would take it one step further if you're really serious about this, is once a month, I would run your numbers through those sites every single month. And what that does is it asks the carriers to remove spam labels from your phone because you're a real person. Now, we can get into a whole bunch of other things. And, I know, Bryan, that you necessarily have not done that. I was told, right? So sometimes it's just any number can go to spam at any time. All it takes is one person that maybe you said something the wrong way to, that blocks you, reports you, or whatever. Like, that's literally all it takes. And so you just don't know. But if you do that, like, you want to keep your number clean and you want to have consistency. So part of the reason is Bryan has consistent lead flow. He's doing the same volume of texting and calling every single month for the most part. And so his phone health, which is like a credit score, is continually going up with the carriers. So if you want to make sure you're maximizing the results that you can get out of the platform, that's something that you ought to do. Now, I'm just curious. Right now, people are like, it's a hassle. It takes time. You got to fill out a bunch of stuff. It's annoying, right? So, Bryan, I'd have your assistant, maybe do that. But if anybody would be interested, right? We've been looking at ways that we can potentially offer this as a service. So, agents don't have to go do this. They don't have to check it and worry about it and fill out stuff constantly. If there was a service that we had that maybe you could pay, I don't know, $100 a month. I just made that up, right? And this would, all the spam stuff, they would check it, remediate it, take it off, and you could sleep well knowing you're not going to spam. I'm asking everybody, would that be something that would be an interest of you? Type yes in the chat. And again, we have some things out there that we're looking at, maybe doing some partnerships and providing. It's the reason we haven't done it so far is it's usually a whole pile of work or it's super expensive. So just want to know what people are like. Yeah, that is a problem. So, that is one small reason, right? Now, take somebody else who's not as disciplined, who hasn't built their skills, who's not doing all the things, Bryan, right? It doesn't matter that you're getting a higher response rate, but higher response rate coupled with the skills and all the things that you've shared with us, no wonder you're selling so much, Bryan. So any other tips, thoughts that you might add that led you to having such a great month that we didn't go over before as we're closing out here?
No, I think if you just really personally put development in yourself. So what are you doing in between the dead spots? What are you reading? What are you consuming? How's your relationships, your personal, stuff like that? Are you taking care of yourself outside of just business? Are you in the gym? Are you like walking? Are you, taking sauna, stuff like that? I mean, continuing to in the dead spots, that's what I call it. But in the dead spots, really put that into yourself. And that's going to, because we're not here to promote, really, we're here to attract. So if you have a spirit of influence, and obviously the people I attract to are like-minded people, but also better than me. Trust me, I am learning skills. There are people way more skilled that I appreciate. I don't look up to, I look to. I don't put people on pedestals. It's unfair to them. But I look to people, and that's where I get my suggestions. But personal development is a big thing. And my whole thing is being spiritually fit with Jesus. So scripture in those dead spots is where I need to renew my mind. So because I need to be as clear as possible and as sharp as possible to stay on the phones. But what I did is I made the phones the easiest part of my life. Everything I do is a lot harder. Walking 45 minutes in the heat is harder than being on the phones. Lifting 315 on my back is harder than being on the phones. You know, being a father is harder than being on the phones. Everything I do outside of this office is harder. So when I get on the phones, it's like a relief.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. The saying is an idle mind is the devil's playground. So you have to, like you said, renew your mind, keep sharp. So
And real quick, I'm a lazy. I want to do everything. I want to be lazy. I want to be lazy, and I want to be lazy. So I fight. I literally want to beat myself up every day, and that's what I do by taking action steps. Because I would much rather not do anything.
amen to that. Amen to that. Bryan, I know you got to go sell it. We'll look forward to seeing that post in the daily sales channel in our Discord community.
Please have the help, like you said. Please, please.
Absolutely, absolutely. Appreciate you, Bryan, and for
Thanks for
everybody
having me, man.
else, yes, sir, yes, sir. For everybody else, make sure if you have not joined our Discord community, jump in there and you can chat with people like Bryan. You can see what they're doing, see what they're posting. Also, just a couple things from week to week. Mondays and Fridays, we have our live office hours. If you need some help, of course, between then, hit the LCP support button. Wednesdays, just before this call, Nick does a training on how to use and maximize Lead Champ. And then for everybody else who maybe has some questions that we didn't answer about Lead Champ, go on our main page, leadchamppro.com, book a demo. You'll meet with Nick, who is at the top of the call, and he can help answer some of those questions. And Kelly, yes, we have all those things. And if you book a demo with Nick, he can help you pick what's the right one for your personal setup. Till then, everybody have a great day.